If your business collapses every time you take a day off, you're not a CEO, you're a babysitter.
The thing that I had to do was get over myself. That was the first piece. And stop pretending that my business needed me as much as I put on that it did.
You'll get a glimpse of the exact mindset shifts, leadership tactics, and simple systems she used to reclaim her life and how you can do the same.
I had to put in management. I had to get my people to do the things that I could do, because there was no other way for me to have a life and have a business if everything fell back on me. So that was the first thing I did, is invest in what does it take to create managers in my business and leaders in my business and people who run departments. Like, what does that take? And the reality is, when I started this journey, I sucked at managing everything, because I would tell them what to do. I would explain why it was important. And then I expected that they just could do it. I had no idea about training people at that time. I had no idea about systemizing processes, like all that business talk. I got into baking cakes, okay? I don't have a business degree. So none of that made sense to me at the time. I just wanted you to do the thing because I told you it was important, and I wanted them to just like go all in like I did. And that never happened. So now I have managers that I'm paying more money to, and I'm still babysitting. I'm just babysitting a little less because you get a little more, but I'm babysitting still. But I feel a little better, because if I had a headache that morning, the managers could probably take over for the morning. But I still showed up pretty much every day. And it wasn't until I definitely had to do a lot of personal development, business development, just mentally to get to a new place. But ultimately what I realized is I was just holding everything because I was too afraid of someone else making a mistake and literally like making my name look bad, right? That company name is my name. And I literally said that to my staff. I was like, that's my name on this building. I said that. As awful as it sounds, right? But what I learned is I can teach them how to lead, how to manage, how to run this business if I would define it for them. If I took the time to do that work to define what it is that they're responsible for and walk through that process. The second part that could not be ignored is the process, right? Early in the business, when you can imagine with a cake, right? You would bake the cake, decorate the cake, and I'm skipping tons of steps because there had to be ordering and stuff coming in, and you gotta do all that first. And then you get the process of baking, and then you get the actual order out and decorate the cake to the client's specificity, and then it has to be delivered. So step, 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 step. And I used to do it all. So then when I hired you to just bake and you to just do this other thing, I expect so much more productivity, because why can't you do 10 times more than what I can do? I was doing the whole process. You're not. But I had to understand that defining the roles meant that I was also saying, here is how I want my company to run. Here is the streamline, making things smooth, the process. And it didn't take a lot of work. It just took me thinking through like what was required at each step. And when I was able to say what was required versus just saying, it's important that you do this properly. If I can define for my staff what I needed them to do, how things were done, and help them think through how to do that, but in a clear and concise way. Oh my gosh, after I kind of took that approach, my life changed. Now, I'll be honest, running the bakery was tough for me most of the time because I was controlling it. But toward the end, because I did choose to do something else after, toward the end, I embraced empowering my managers, defining the systems, and taking the time to do that, because I realized it's a time trade-off. I can either babysit every process, or I can take the time to create the systems that they will use so they can do these things on their own.